You are watching The Horizon, the voice of the Amba woman, exclusively on ABC Amba TV.
Mama Amba, with your love for us, we can assure Ambazonia is free. Today on Mother's Day, we shine a heartfelt spotlight on the mothers of Ambazonia, whose spirits in the face of unimaginable trials remain unbroken and fiercely radiant. Each Ambazonian mother stands as a testament to resilience, nurturing life and hope in a landscape marred by turmoil and the harshness perpetrated by French Cameroon's brutality. Their pain is deep, having shed blood and tears for their beloved land and lost children. Yet in their profound grief, they have not buried their beliefs in freedom and justice, but have instead sown these values even deeper in the soul of Ambazonia. Their love, boundless, their courage, immeasurable. These remarkable women have faced the darkness, yet they continue to embody the light, remaining fruitful amidst adversity. Their labor tirelessly, not just in the fields of their cherished land, but in the heart of their communities, nurturing the next generation with the strength and wisdom of warriors and peacekeepers. Their hands, though weathered by hardship, are the same hands that cradle the future, that plant seeds of hope and sustain the spirit of independence that defines Ambazonia. Today, we honor the Ambazonian mothers who, in the silence of their sacrifices and the loudness of their battles, show us what it truly means to fight for the essence of home and freedom. To every mother who has picked up the metaphorical weapons of resilience, love, and unyielding faith in the face of adversity, your valor inspires us. You do not fight alone. Your dreams for a peaceful, independent Ambazonia echo in the hearts of many around the world. On this Mother's Day, we celebrate you, Ambazonian mothers, not just as the hearts of your homes, but as the undying heartbeat of a nation striving for its rightful place under the sun. Your resilience sketches the blueprint for Ambazonia's tomorrow. May your tears of yesterday water the seeds of tomorrow's freedom, peace, and prosperity. Happy Mother's Day to the unwavering, formidable mothers of Ambazonia. Your strength lights our path to a brighter future. Mama Amba, with your love for us, we can assure Ambazonia is free.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to The Horizon, the voice of the Amba woman. Happy month of November. We're starting the month on The Horizon with a topic that should excite everyone. It's a topic that we think, based on what is going on in our journey, we have to look back and address where we've been in this recent history of our quest for international recognition and where we are now. We'll talk briefly about what transpired in 2016, 2017, through to 2024. But it will have emphasis on what has transpired in the past few days. But the take-home message at the end of the program will be to ensure that Ambazonians believe that we are on the right path and that in any quest for freedom, there will be setbacks. However, we take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. We're still advancing. We are not at standstill. Without further ado, let me invite or let me acknowledge my sister, our guest on the program. It's really going to be a conversation, but please permit me to welcome Dr. Yaya Fonye to the horizon. Dr. Yaya, welcome. Where are you?
Hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes.
Oh, you are like a true
Okay.
warrior.
Oh yes.
Ready to fight.
That's my mode now. I am operating as a warrior, so let me no man not try me because I did is I'm warrior mode. Anyway, good evening, fellow comrades. It's always a pleasure being here to talk to our people. And yes, please share the link. Let's have a chat. Because the thing, as we fight the enemy, we also need to fight the internal enemies and also fix ourselves and renew ourselves, revive ourselves, and get ourselves really of course, we wouldn't get perfect, but we're working on that so that by the time we get to Boya, we're actually better human beings than before. So we are not making any illusions that because we're in the struggle, it is a perfect place. We are human beings, so therefore there are always going to be flaws. So yes, we're going to be talking about that aspect. In La Republique style, they will never discuss something like this in public. But in our Ambazonian culture, our heritage is that we talk about issues, we discuss issues openly, frankly, and we are truthful. We know that problems exist and we talk about them. We don't put them we don't shove them under the chair. So good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Yaya. The great thing about what you just said is that, yes, we talk things in the open. And we, in that light, those who are listening from the home front realize that they are really the key to this. They realize that they have to be also responsible in doing certain things to get us home. It's not just those of us in the diaspora that may be creating problems. Those at home front are the key for us to get that our land and govern our land as a people. So I started by saying that we'll have a conversation, and we're talking about things that happened within the past 8 years from 2016. So we remember that 2016, and basically this program today, we want to talk about the challenges and the successes that we've accomplished for this past 8 years. We don't have plenty of time, so certain things we'll just abbreviate because the core of the talk will be about recent activities. So with that said, Dr. Yaya, 2016, teachers and lawyers went on a strike. Go ahead and just remind us of those 2 events.
Yeah, again, I wish I can just copy the words of Madam Speaker. She was here a few weeks ago and I really delved into this topic. I think about yes. Again, this struggle didn't start today. Our forefathers, our parents, actually lived firsthand the issues that we are only, I mean, this generation would have just been the last to have lost touch with that reality. Our parents actually lived it because they came from a place of self-governance to shared governance with Nigeria, and then moving away from Nigeria to join La République du Cameroon, hoping that this would be a better deal, but they were actually moving from fry pan to fire. So La République knows from day one that there was some foul play, and this has been brought over the years now to our knowledge because we never studied this in history. We were learning some strange history of some foreign people just to cut us completely off our roots, and so we didn't know all this. So this whole struggle started from the day the fake marriage started because both parties, or at least the subdued party, knew that they were cheated. It's like a woman getting into marriage or just moving in and staying without the man paying bride price, and you're hoping and only and hoping and hoping that because of love or whatever, things are going to change. And here we are, 60 odd years, things haven't changed. And God made it that it will happen through, the strikes or the protests of the teachers and the lawyers. Because, of course, La République's plan, which is a proxy of France, was to assimilate us. We've gone through the white-black assimilation or colonization, you can say. And after having survived that, you have a black-on-black colonization happening again through La République, assimilating and elating the peoples of Southern Cameroon. So, yes, we have had a series of protests, of agitations throughout these 60 years. Our forefathers have tried different things and they have been hushed down either through, silent extrajudiciary killings or just intimidation, and people just disappear in thin air. So they've always quelled that down. And through the heavy military presence of La République in our territory, especially around October 1st. I remember even as a child in Boya, I can remember there was a time we just heard that, Aijo has sent troops, and it was really scary. I remember that in Clark's quarters from the general hospital, how these tankers were passing. And as a child, there was that fear. So who could dare to stand against such a do I say a pharaoh kind of a figure? So our people knew that they were under suppression a long time ago. They just didn't have the right chance to erupt to this level. But they have tried, and they have done all kinds of peaceful methods, writing petitions. Even us growing up, I'm sure we heard our parents, they were always writing petitions. I heard this word petition, never knew what it was. But, now I know why, And most of our parents, in as much as they were qualified for positions, to be in better positions, most of them ended up as what do you call this, chief of service or something,
Black.
Anyway, long story short, Mape, since it's a conversation, you have to cut me
Yeah.
short. So what we're saying is this struggle started a long time ago, from day one of the fake union. And there have been pockets of attempts to tell La République that you need to fix it, and La République has always used tricks, different things, use force, to suppress this. And in 2016, the lawyers, okay, that brings me back, because part of their assimilating us is actually dissolving our institutions and our way of life, because the agreement or the supposed constitution that was never ever enacted or even written down was that both parties were going to come into this union as equal parties, and they will maintain their autonomy, so to say. They will maintain their parliaments, they will maintain their institutions. But La République, knowing, of course, having an agenda from France, after having discovered, I'm learning all of this from the Lobatis, I must say, because I never studied the history of Cameroon, to be honest. Anyway, it was a systematic plan to dissolve all those great institutions we had. We hear of PAMOL, what's this other one, PowerCam, you name them. And also our system of exactly. Our system of law and the educational system was different, but we know that because, for someone like me, I went to a bilingual school in Yaoundé. I know the difference, how, what the Francophone system is and the Anglophone system. So they tried to change all these things, and over time, I think we've had 2 all Anglophone conferences where you had the elites sit down, to talk about the issues and actually put them down in paper and send to this pharaoh of a government in Yaoundé to make sure that there's some fairness, in the way we treat it. That never, it ended on paper. And so in 2016, I think the teachers and the lawyers had it here, and they said we must fight for our systems, our original system to be maintained. And they went peacefully on the streets, and behold, that's how it erupted. I still remember it vividly. I remember when this now a coup plotter or a traitor, Bala, was he the one reading that, or it was Barrister Bobga Harmony? They had like 10 proposals that they had made to La République. So again, another peaceful proposal. Wasn't they were not saying that, we want to dissolve the union. No, they were telling them we need to reinstate this and this and this, as per the time of joining. So things just unfolded, and it rolled into this. and then in 2017, the revolution just emerged. I would say
Yeah,
because there was no
let me
plan.
end there before you get to 2017. So we're going to go
Oh,
step by
okay.
step. So yeah, so
Okay.
you've really you went backwards more than I had anticipated, but that is good. So
Yeah.
the bottom line is that 2016 had the teachers and the lawyers striking, and also that the key players at that time, you mentioned Bob Gard being the one who read the document, which is true, and then also the fact that the key players at that time were Patasan and
Right.
remember
Right.
Mancho BBC of the Coffin Revolution that also took place in 2016. So the goal at that time to 2016 was not really, as you said, to break the union, but to change things, to make things, to bring equity so that we as Southern Cameroonians felt like we were equal to the French Cameroonians, which is not the case.
Yeah.
And mind you, most of us at that time were pleased with the word federation. I'll speak for myself. I was a federalist. I know. There was change in heart for me only after things proceeded to the war. But let's go on to, and we recognize Pat Taxan as a strong leader of 2016. And then Manchu BBC doing what he did. 2017, Dr. Yaya, I'll just read some keywords and then we talk briefly because we want to go year by year and talk about some strengths and some positive things and some negative things. 2017, you had some three names that came up. Well, let me go back. 2016, you had the word called consortium. So there was a consortium that was supposed to be the one trying to navigate how we do things, how the La République du Cameroon would work with our people. 2017, you had SCACUF, which was Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, Consortium, United Front, SCACUF. Then after that, you had the Governing Council, following all the conclaves that they had in Nigeria. You had the Governing Council, and then you had the interim government. So in the days of SCACUF, you had people like Abobala, Fontaine Deba, Silpa Tassang was there, Eric Tato, Ivo Tapang. Those are people that were supposed to be leaders at that time. I will mention those names because we're talking going back memory lane.
Eric Tato, hell no.
Yes, believe it or not. In 2017, let me tell you something. In 2017,
Oh my God.
they had to come to California. They had to come to California. And I think that's the first time that I met Tapang Ivo. They came to Los Angeles here. There was a reception for them. Eric Tato couldn't make it. Ivo Tapang was here. And they welcomed him. And at that time, I just went as a leader in our community to observe what was going on. I was not really head on in this struggle. And the people, and I just didn't have good vibes with that guy. Just my first meeting with him, I did not feel the connection. I'm being open. Anyway, long story short, that passed, and we have again the governing council. Sesoko Ayuk Tabe made the president, right? In 2017, and then in still the same year, they changed from the governing council to the interim government. So he was the leader of the governing council, then became the president of the interim government. And I think the key players behind the scene with all this changing in names from governing council to interim government was Dr. Anyangwe. Let's put some of these facts out. Was Dr. Anyangwe, who has since disappeared. Anyway, September 22nd, 2021. I mean September 22nd, 2017 was when our people came out en masse, right? And with peace plans. So we're going back memory lane for people to remember things that have happened in the past. People came out with peace plans on September 22nd, 2017. That enough is enough. We are done with what with this union. We want to go back to where we were before, where we were people before. We don't want to be associated with La Republic. And then October 1st, 2017, Ayuk Tabe they proclaim restored our independence, and that's why we've started celebrating October 1st every year since then. So I don't know if you want to add anything, because I think I just want to push on quickly. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's really important to actually state the history of the well, I shouldn't say the birth of our government now, because but this thing, it started, and then people protesting. There was nobody, there was no preparation that, oh, let's prepare and start this revolution in 2 years. So whereby people would have been ready and been more informed about things. So we just went with the flow. But yeah, to the birth of the consortium, that stemmed from the protests of the lawyers and the teachers, and because of the heavy presence of La Republique. Because I remember even when the lawyers protested, there were some rough handling of them, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think
Yes, there
anyone
was.
was killed then, but yeah. So that just stirred up the population to see that, hey, these guys are that barbaric, and it just built up. It's important to state this because you have people today who talk about the government as if it is a product of Dr. Sako, as if it is a product of a power monger, as they claim that he's a power monger. So they can clearly see Dr. Sako did not create the government. Well, our government right now is the restored government of Joa of 1954. Sorry, is that correct? Or 50?
59.
What year is that?
Well,
Anyway, the restored government of Joa before we came into this fake union with La République du Cameroon. So those who hide behind, because you have some people who say, oh yeah, they for struggle, but and down a government, that was Sako eating. So they can clearly see that this has nothing to do with Sako. So when this uprising, as we call it, in 2016 started, we started having now different unions, different trade unions coming together, and that's what then constituted that platform called the consortium, because you had the representative from the lawyers, from the teachers, from the Bayam Selams. You had all different civil societies represented in that platform, which was, like, we can say, the bedrock of the foundation or the progression to the restoration of the government. So to those who claim or say that una government or Sako thing or something like that, or that he is looking for something to hang on to, that we should dissolve the government, I think they, for benefit of doubt, maybe don't know their history. We had Southern Cameroons had a government, and we had change of power from one not president, we prime minister, sorry, yes, prime minister to another, without any war, without any uprising, without anyone being killed. So I'm just emphasizing on this because you have a lot of people who hide behind this and think that the government is a Sako product, and because he wants to hang on to power. No, that platform had existed since 2017 and had just gone through some metamorphosis over the years throughout the conclaves or the constituent assemblies that met at the time. They would come and gather and decide to change the name and structure as guided by legal minds like Carlson Anyangwe and people like that. So I think from the consortium and we want let's state this, that Patasang played a very, very key role in all of this, even though from a very humble perspective on the background, but he was really like that backbone. I still have this picture in mind where they went to, there was some protest where the people marched up to station or they took them for questioning or something like that after the protest, and people marched in mass. They went up to Bamenda station, and is that when he made the statement that by this day on Monday or by tomorrow we will know who is in charge of this line or something like that.
Yes,
That was
I remember that. I was looking for that video,
iconic
really.
moment.
I was looking for it to play it
So
today, but I couldn't put my hands on it. I know
I'm
exactly what you're
surprised you
talking about.
have names of rocks like Eric Tato
Oh,
being in
yeah.
the leadership. Never
Oh,
heard that.
yes.
God help us.
Oh, yes.
Whew. Okay. And there's something
We're
I
just
wanted
saying
to
how
say.
things have transcended since then. We just need to know. By the
Ah,
way,
Muppet.
let me say something before we. Have you ever wondered how it came about that from every village, town, city, you know, in La Republic, in Ambazonia, people came out on the same at the same time on that September 22nd? Have you ever wondered how that happened? How did they know that they're supposed to come out together and ask for their freedom? Even in the villages, in the towns, there was some
Yeah, that's why they
machinery
say
in the background.
an ideology is like a spirit. There's that connectedness. People, even a baby in Ambazonia has experienced injustice, So it was just waiting for the right opportunity. And those grandmothers who probably were in those days where they said vote and they saw we and yes, they probably did not understand. Some of them might not have understood what happened. They have seen all of this and they saw the days of this. They had seen better days, even though still under La République du Cameroon, subjugation and assimilation. But the different governments had different characteristics, and they had experienced the pre coming to that union with Yaoundé, so they knew that things were better
We
before.
knew.
And therefore, if they could see that, oh, there's an outlet for them to raise their voice. I think it was just something. When the momentum builds, it's just like a choir, it just, everybody feels it and just moves along. So I don't know whether there was really like mass mobilization. Probably there must have been on the background, but I don't
They
think.
must have been in the background, and
Yes.
this is what I have since learned, and I hate to
Yeah.
mention this name, but I believe that I heard that people like Bo Herbert were behind the scenes and instrumental. He had this thing called Morisk at that time, so that's what I since learned.
Okay, let me you've just reminded me. Yes, that's when the coffin revolution comes into play, because the coffin revolution was not the intellectuals, it wasn't teachers, it wasn't lawyers. These were people, lay people, business
Mhm,
guys, just
mhm.
how do you say, so head so name the way they talk, that's where they just struggle,
Mancho
like
BBC
Mancho
was
BBC.
one.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's why he pulled a lot of crowd, because he also represented that class, that middle class of
Mhm,
strugglers,
mhm.
people who are nowhere to be found. They could also have gone to the university, had a degree, and no jobs, and therefore they are doing their small businesses and so on. So he was in connection with Honorable Weaver, that I know. So now you started having pockets of influential people doing like rallies. Remember, Weaver also did some rallies in Bui, which was
Absolutely.
massive. And after
Mhm.
that, they started chasing him, you know. So that just brought it's like it just birthed some spirit of this is the time. Nobody said it's the time, but the people just felt it. So
It was a
yeah.
time. But I'm looking at the time,
Yeah.
Dr. Yaya. We spent too much time on this section and we still have a lot to talk about. So let's move on because we still on 2017 and all the life we still have. So we may have to go quickly through different sections.
Okay. I still,
So
yeah, maybe we'll come again.
20 18, the year 2018, January, the Naira 10 happened. So Siseko and his cabinet, they were abducted in Nigeria and eventually taken to La République du Cameroon. And then in March of 2017, we had an interim president, Dr. Samuel Kome Sako, who was put in, he was previously known by most as Dr. Common Sense. So he took the helm of the leadership. And for that year, 2018, his major accomplishments were my trip to Boya, because we're told that when he went into office, the account was empty, knowing that the then Skakuf people that were in charge of Skakuf took the money. And he's explained in his in recent audios that we've heard, how money has been an issue when the leadership changes based on not proper things put in place, money goes along with them. So during the days of Skakuf, there was a lot of money that came in because Siseko traveled a lot and people were giving money. At that time, you had the counties, counties are not country. You had the counties as being, no, sorry, countries we're governed by countries. We didn't
Yeah.
have the APP plan then. So when you went to the United States of America, you came to California, we raised so much money. You go all over Europe, they raise money. Massachusetts, they raise money. So they had a lot of money in Skakuf. That's a different story. We don't really have the bandwidth to talk about that. Sako then came about with My Trip to Boya, which got a lot of money into the government. And we know the story of My Trip to Boya, what happened with some of the money, but it helped run the government at that time. And then he came up with the Amber Peace Plan, defending homeland LGA by LGA. I will let you speak now so that we can go to the next year, because also one more thing happened in 2018. Milan Atam created Scope, which started this division. That's how it started, where groups started coming out of the IG and there was Scope, because at that time we were all together. We were all together, regardless of the other groups that didn't join us, like Maurice and Akwanga's group. They were not really intimately with the IG, but regardless of that, we had a lot of Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians united together in this government. I don't know if you want to say anything with this part of the era that I just mentioned.
Yeah, no, that is just the transition, and I think that's just the natural progression of every association or anything new. Is even maybe it's like you buy a new dress, you're very excited when you wear it the first time, and after maybe you wore it 3 times, it starts to become very normal. So it's okay. I mean,
What
sorry,
happened?
the call keeps coming in. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we shouldn't feel discouraged, and this is not a negative point. When we talk about it, it is just the human progression. People get tired, people get left out as we go in anything in life. It starts with a lot of excitement, and people have different expectations. Some think that, oh, we'll be free in 1 week, another one maybe in 10 days or 2 years or 10 years. And because this is something that no one was prepared for, no one could predict, and nobody can predict. I don't think there's any revolution that could say in 5 years' time we're going to be free. So that tells you now who is made of what kind of fiber. So the hardcore people will stay. We shouldn't be discouraged. It has always taken the critical mass to do such a job. So when we talk about the numbers, we hear some people talk in a very negative way. And yes, it will be good to have more hands, but that's the reality. There's no point crying over something we can't change. Those who are diehard will stay and finish the job. The main thing is that Boya is a certainty. Whether it was done by 20 people or by 2,000, it really doesn't matter. Even in the Bible, we have seen where an army, Gideon's army was made of 300 men, and he conquered. So let us be proud that we are those 300 men. The last 300 men still standing, and we shall get to Boya. For me, I say this with a lot of conviction. Someone has asked me, "Do you know something?" I say, "I have no idea. I don't know anything apart from that. I know that Boya is a reality." So let's focus on that and not discourage ourselves. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Doc. Let's go to 2019, and I think you have a lot to talk about here, because one key thing happened in 2019. So in 2019, in terms of our how the world sees us, you remember we used to have SCBC, and because of the way they treated our president, Dr. Sako, we're able to create a new platform called ABC Amba TV. This happened in 2019. And then there was APNC. So as soon as President Sako became the leader, there were already people trying to get rid of this guy. I mean, they're not even giving him an opportunity to do his job. The very first year, it was just this March of 2018. The same year, you already had APNC forming the background. That finally took place in 2019. You already have Scope. So these were already tactics to remove this guy from office. I just don't understand. And it's still happening till today. We'll talk about it. let me just read this, and then I'll give you an opportunity to talk about
Okay.
the things that happen, especially in Berlin. Then you have ASSC1, Ambazonia Stakeholder Strategic Conference, one in Berlin. That happened in April 2019. And then the same year, you had the creation of the Kondingi IG by Ayuk Tabi, later on towards the end of the year. And then the impeachment of Ayuk Tabi. And then September 2019, the creation of Ambazonia Coalition Team Act. And then the same year, towards towards the end of the year, September 30th, 2019 to October 4th, you had the major national grand dialogue in Yaoundé. So we have to incorporate certain things that are happening in Yaoundé also. But talk to us about ASSC1, Dr. Yaya, because you were really instrumental in making sure this was a success.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That was something. That was a real that was a great. It was a turning point really in our history. But before I go there, Mape, I just want to talk about something. You know, the progression from SCBC to ABC, and names changing different structures to adapt revolution. Like the president says all the time, the revolution is a constant state of madness. In order to in order to gain. Frozen.
You were broken for you were broken for a little
Can you hear
moment.
me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes. So we have had all these different strategies, structures, just to adapt to the to the times. So I wish we had time to listen to an audio from one very smart person. He did an analysis on what infiltration, how La Republique orchestrates infiltration in a struggle like this. And it's not just La Republique. I think in every struggle, they know that the best way to tackle your enemy is to actually be, to infiltrate them. And he explained it very, very clearly.
Did you send it to me? We can listen to it later on. I have planned where we can listen to it. Yes, we'll listen to it.
So
yeah.
The reason I'm highlighting this is that you will see why all these breakages, from the scope, from SCBC to these are all, when you listen to that audio, you see that these are all calculated plans already before it starts. La Republique can go as far as actually paying somebody to go and live in a different country to stir up, the struggle, be part of it, be in the heart of it. Somebody like Eric Tato will listen to that, and they start doing things, because remember, Eric Tato is one of the first who started talking about Gary. What was this terminology that will Gary them, meaning that you kill people, because that wasn't the interim government was never for that you start that we should go and kill our own people even if they were against the struggle. He was the one doing that on Facebook, and guess how much following he had. He will start with prayers, these prayers again, and then ends up with say they'll Gary them and sends people to go kill people, and the analysis is that he was assigned by La Republique to do this, first to give a bad name so that when they can quickly give us the name of terrorists. So I think I don't want to talk much, but until people understand how infiltration really works, it is a deeply embedded network, diabolic network, and it makes it very difficult for you to suspect the person. And we are having that up till this day as we speak.
Yeah.
And he gave some characteristics. We are not saying that people should not have different opinions. They can have different opinions. But when somebody is the center of controversy for such a long time, put an eye on them. And especially these people are big guns. They come and give plenty of money. So you say, oh no, the way this person contributes in this struggle, I don't think so. Or they have some skill that they bring in that is so good that the struggle needs, and it makes you blinded. This type of people are the very same that can be used, to infiltrate the struggle, like Chris Anu,
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about. I'm glad you mentioned that. We'll bring that up again when I play that audio. I intend to play it when we've covered most of this. In terms of ASSC1, which was one of a very important highlight in our journey, because that's one of our greatest achievements in our recent history. Any quick summary of the resolutions that came about? Something important that you remember?
Exactly. I think that was great because one, I think the creation of the Department of Women's Affairs, which is one of the the strong, I would say
Mhm.
the strong backbones of this government, without any doubt, without any fear of favor, was created at that ASSC one. And then we had also the laying down of the APP plan. I think the important thing is that you don't have a one-man show. We actually
Mhm.
displayed what it is to be a government. Coming to resolutions. It wasn't a president just sitting and making those resolutions. No, it was a constituent assembly. Representatives, delegates were well, what do I say? Selected, by the
Organized.
different counties. So there was a fair representation, and the selection process was fair because it was county based, and all these people came together and we sat over days and deliberated on this and that topic and finally came up with those resolutions. So we laid the foundation, especially for the Amber Peace Plan, which has been our driving sort of motto, especially for the grassroots um, leadership. And that is really the core of our of this government, because we say we are a government of the people, by the people, for the people. I'm not talking about SDF, but
Mm.
so we are a grassroots uh, uh, government, in the sense that we have those basic structures, the LGAs at the very bottom, that should be under the umbrella of the counties, and then the counties under the umbrella of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. So that was really a turning point, and we definitely stood out amongst any other pressure group, I would say, that doesn't really have the structure of a government. It is usually a handful of people, or maybe an individual, or one strong man that just stands out. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me just read certain things quickly, and then I play that audio, and then we deliberate, because if we have only about 30 more minutes to go, we have a lot to talk about in that 30 minutes, because I just looked at the
Okay.
time. Um,
Okay.
because there's another show that is coming up soon. We have to get ready for the other show.
Yeah.
Um, so President Sako, with his cabinet, with his team, with all the members of the government, that took. By the way, that was the first time I met you in Berlin. My husband and I
Yes.
travel. The ones that came the furthest from California to Berlin, and I just jumped in, and
Correct.
it was exciting. It's exciting. I got
It was it
to
was great.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Alice.
okay. Moving on. I mentioned that the same year, 2019, because remember, even one of the resolutions in that conference was how we stood by Siseko. So we stood by Siseko, that he is the leader, and President Sako is just like a placeholder. That's one of the things that
Exactly.
was very
Correct.
profoundly stated. Only for
Very
us
good.
down the road, when it was almost the time for the United Nations to meet, what did Ayuk Tabe do? He dismissed our government and put in place Kundige IG the same year. And after that, what happened? The then interim house had to impeach Ayuk Tabe. Maybe that happened in 20. I may have missed my time. Maybe later on it happened. No, 2019. Ayuk Tabe was impeached. And then in September 2019, there was a creation of the Ambazonia coalition team, where you
Hmm.
had, uh, because the president, having communicated with the international community, with the Swiss government, realized that we're doing all the work at home with our ARF, then it was then ADF, because they had to change the name. It was, because of what Ayaba was doing. They were doing their job to keep home front safe and defend the land. Remember, in those days we still had Field Marshal and all the great warriors that have since fallen because of the influence of those
Great
who
man.
are
Yeah.
you know those who have been sent by La Republique to diffuse all our activities.
Exactly.
So then moving along, in 2020, the president instituted drafting. We started drafting to get money into the government. You had federal, you had the county draft, and a lot of counties made money that was supposed to be used to prosecute the war. But we later on realized that some of these counties were not doing what they were supposed to do with the money. There was no accountabilities in their own counties. And then there was also then the lava storm. The president needed money in the government to do things. And they had the lava storm, which really brought in money, and the lava started flowing. In those days, we used to hear about things happening in Libya, Lem, and other parts of the country. So back home, because of the way money was coming in through drafting, things were happening on the ground in the home front. Okay, now let's move on to 2021, when there was a coup initiated by Chris Ano, and the other coup players were Cometa, Abongo, and Marianta. I just want to skip over this because
Yeah.
we don't want to waste much time on this. This is just memory lane. We know that these were
They're
the
nowhere today.
bad seeds that have affected our journey, and I hate to put up this name. Dr. Tita was part of the team then. He since came back to the government, explaining himself, and the president welcomed him back. But he was also part of this coup plot at the time. Now it's a different ball game to debate whether he's truly with us or not. That's not my call to make at this point. We'll judge. Ambazonians will judge for themselves. And then 2022, you had the Ambazonia Stakeholder Strategic Conference in Washington, D.C., the second one, which took place from 10th to 13th of March 2022. That also came up with a lot of important resolutions. Also, the same year, La Republique pulls out of the Swiss talks, right? They pulled out of Swiss talks, still depending on their Grand National Dialogue that did nothing. And then fast forward to February 2023, they had this Canadian talks that the Canadian offered an opportunity to intervene, to bring peace. And you had some very irresponsible players, and the interim government was not, our government still then, an interim government, had nothing to do with it because we already knew that it was the work of La Republique. Okay. Let me go straight to reading something that happened on September 10, 2022, and then we play
The audio.
2022.
You're talking about the Takumbang Day or?
Oh yes.
The
Chris Ano did register. Oh, September 10, 20, September 10, 10, 20, 10,
2022.
Chris Ano proclaimed himself as the president of the interim government. So that's when he really went out public. And when he did that at that time, previous to that, Marianta was supposed to be the leader. So now created confusion, and now there was like 4 IGs, because remember there was still Kundige IG with Sissoko, there was still Marianta, then Chris Ano, and then
I will call them breakaways. I'll call them factions.
No, but the point I was trying to make is that if we reflect on all that and see where we are today, because this is a memory, we're going down the memory, see where we are today.
Yeah.
What are those so-called IGs doing back home? Because the work is what you do at the home front. What have they done at the home front? Home front knows the answer. They know that these people are part of the La Republique ploy to break us down. But the key work is still being done by the legitimate government. No longer an interim government. We'll get to that. Now the government of Southern Cameroons. What did you want to say before we proceed to the?
I just wanted to say this is part of the reason I'm particular about calling them 4 governments. That's exactly La Republique's agenda. because it makes us ridiculous. Like, oh, how come you have 4 governments? There is always a mother organization, and then whatever comes after is a breakaway. So we should call them breakaways. They never compared to the, let's say, original IG. They did not have they didn't have a government. They had 3 or 4 thieves around, and that was it, So, but La Republique likes us to use this terminology because it makes us look stupid. And they say, no, we don't know who to talk to because there's IG 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there's the IG that they know is the real one, and they try to avoid, because they know that these are the people that are principal actors on the ground, because they have the fighters, and the other people are just riffraffs that they've given them envelopes, to distort. But when they call them, they make us be on par. It means that, okay, who do I talk to? Marianne, these, whatever their names are. Yeah. Now I'm just saying that when they give us those terminologies, we should not use them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I call them breakaways. Yeah.
So let me play this audio, and then once I play the audio, we can talk about current activities, current incidents. Yes.
Just before you play that audio, I wanted to say one also big achievement from the ASSC2 you forgot, which was your project from the Women's Department, is the writing of the book by the women, by the Ambazonian women.
Yes.
Come on.
Echoes of Women's Tears. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we've done great. Yes. That's true.
Okay.
That's true. Okay, so let me play this audio, and then we'll talk about things that are currently happening. Oops. That's so funny. I had it, my thing.
I think it's the first one that I sent, the first.
Yeah. Why is it not playing? You may have to play it for me.
Oh, unfortunately, I'm using my phone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what's going on here? You know how you want to play something, it shuts down. It makes that, maybe something else is playing. Okay, maybe I have 2 things playing at the same time. Let me turn off the phone and then turn it back on.
Yes, we've got time. I really want us to listen to that.
No, we'll play it. We'll play it. I'll just turn off the phone and turn it back on. But we've gone through a lot. We've gone through a lot in this journey, and as we just want people back home to realize that there will be challenges on the way, but never to give up. I think our motto, if I remember our motto, the motto of the government is liberty, justice, liberty, integrity. Justice, liberty, integrity. Let's just realize that because of justice, we'll have our freedom, and which is that liberty. And we all have to show integrity to make sure that it happens. Okay, I think I'm going to get it now.
And just to add, I think the feedback that we get from the ground is ready. They, in as much as they're going through facing the bullets, going through the pain, they know that it is worth the sacrifice. The feedback, especially after October 1, we saw how.
Let me see.
Oh wow, how our ASs came out in style. And the people know. We see them. They make comments and all of that. They know that we need to finish this business. So the ground is stable. It is just us. We need to keep doing what we do and stay focused and partner with them, because it's really a partnership.
So I'm having difficulty with that audio. But let's talk about. No, I will be able to get it soon. But let's talk about what happened, because we've had 2 major meetings, ASSC 1, ASSC 2, but then also after Chris Anu registered the interim government, the president was smart enough to think about the ramifications of that, right? Because Chris Anu registered the interim government, then that means that we are under him, or we cannot use the interim government in proceedings. So the president called an emergency meeting, in December of 2020, 23. And there was a deliberation about certain things that the House led the meeting. So the first one was on the December 2nd or 3rd. I don't remember the exact date. And then the next one was on December 7th, where they were signing it. And I had wanted Paddy to play, the director to play something, but he could not. So while I'm still trying to get this, while I'm still trying to get the audio, I'm going to see if I can just play this on this thing for people to watch.
Okay. Yes. No, I put it up a
Are
bit
you
up.
listening?
Yeah, yeah.
Here we have the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia signing the declaration that makes Ambazonia a government and no longer interim government. This is a government fully restored, and the next destination is Buea. There we go. Government of Southern Cameroon, Federal Republic of Ambazonia.
The President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia has just promulgated the bill that was voted by the House of Assembly into law. So this law will be reflected in the new constitution. Thank you very much.
That was the voice of the Attorney General, Barrister Fujo So, who was assisting the President in finalizing the signatures.
So, if I want to address the nation, the people right now. So, if you want me to be on VMix call, do the switch right now and let me get so that the people on the home front can follow. Or I don't know which you want me to do, but I want to proceed with that address. I think you can unmute.
Yes, Mr. President, we're going to take you from the council now.
Okay. The significance of this, the importance of this is that something happened where there were members witnessing the process. It was not something done in private somewhere, in a dark room somewhere. It was something that the body of people met together. Most of us were on Zoom, while a few of them were there in person to make sure this happened. And because of that, we then became the government of Southern Cameroons, the Federal Republic for Ambazonia, no longer the interim government. And I'm still trying to get that audio, but I don't know if you want to say something while I try to get that audio, Dr. Yaya, because that audio is very important.
Oh yes. That again is another moment in our history, and like I keep saying to the naysayers who want to equate this government to pressure groups and things. No, there is a clear characteristic of this government. It has the full structure, the full breadth and width of a government. It has the three arms of government, doing the checks and balances. We have the legislature and we have the judiciary as well as the executive, and you have the different departments, directorates. I mean, it is a full-blown government. So yes, and they follow government processes, administrative processes. I'm not an expert in this, and I don't even want us to let me put it this way, we will be having the Speaker of the House, Madam Winnie Lobati, come up in a few hours, to talk about things like this. And I'm sure our legal experts, the head of the judiciary, Bryce Ambessa, you can bring him on. So I don't want to delve into something I'm not versed with. And this is the part of the huh?
I have the audio now.
Okay.
I have that audio
no, I just
now.
want to say,
Yes.
all right, you want to play now? Okay.
Finish
I
what you're
just want to
saying.
say,
Yes.
I think in this struggle, people need to know where their limitations are. For me, things on defense and these legal things, I don't have much understanding, and I depend on the experts. And so all this buffoonery, as I call it, that's going around now, is because people with half knowledge, they claim they're trying to do something that they have no clue about. And if you don't know something, please shut up. If you don't want to shut up, learn from the experts. Go and meet the person who knows and say, please explain this to me. And even after explanations, you have knuckleheads who go disturbing the whole place. All these little ramblings, I'm not really excited. They're going to die down in a few weeks. So please, let's stay focused and, keep drafting. Yes.
Okay, here's the audio. I'm going to make it a little bit faster so that we can,
to individually assess relationships. This revolution has been going on for the past 8 years, and there has been a lot of infiltrations in our relationship at every area: government, LGAs, private or individual groups, and all of that. La Republic, even WhatsApp groups, social media groups, La Republic has infiltrated a lot. After 8 years, of course, that's what you expect. That's obvious. But the reality is that there are infiltrations, but you as an individual, you have to sit back and assess relationships. After 8 years, if you think that things are always the same, that's not true. A lot has changed, a lot has moved. And you cannot just stay where you've been without even thinking around you, thinking about what's going on around you, thinking about the people you're surrounded with. A lot of people, like public planted in this revolution, have been sitting for years. The likes of Eric Tato, he came in here and we all gravitated towards him, floated behind him. Oh, our hero, gave him all kinds of names. I remember he came to my city and I was jumping and almost, just got excited about him. Not knowing that it was a snake that La Republic sent to this country to come here and deceive. Because what they normally do is they come here first, they deceive, and they deceive the people. They work for us, they work tirelessly for us. Do anything, do everything, and then they attract Ambazonians in their thousands towards them. La Republic sits quiet, let it be. Because it's a strategy. Go there first, draw the people towards yourself, and then eventually we'll tell you what to do. That's exactly what Eric Tata did. Came here, drew our attention, we flooded behind him. But he was working for La Republic. All those days, he was sending people on the ground to cut people's fingers. Because La Republic wanted to paint us a bad name. And so he will make him do things like that. And La Republic turns around and says, look at what they're doing. They're cutting people's fingers. Why? Because they have that agent here who does the daily work for them. When the U.S. Senator went to Yaoundé, the Minister of Defense pulled out videos of people's finger that we cut. So-called we cut them. Why? Because they had a guy who was doing all that for them. And then they have the videos. And then they'll show it to the minister. You see? When he came here, we were running behind him because he would say all this things against La Republic, and then we flooded behind lying. We flooded behind him. Guess what? Eventually, the reality pops up, and now we know him. Look at Chris Arnold, same thing. He sat in our government playing games, doing all the shows on TV and all that, doing our communication. La Republic will let you do that. But you leave it there on TV, and when they really need you, and when they needed him real bad, when they were almost drowning, they pull him out of the shelf and said to divide our government, destroy our self-defense. That was the plan. Divide the government, destroy self-defense. Have nothing to do on ground zero. You see? So after some years in the revolution, you have these infiltrators manifest themselves. So what you do as an individual is you have to sit back or sit down and prayerfully and consciously and intentionally evaluate your relationships with people. Especially with people who started so well, working so hard. Don't worry about how hard they work. Of course, it's all strategy. Of course, they'll invest time. They'll invest so much. They have even money and all of that. And that's why I pity people who don't have some kind of discernment. If you don't discern people, you cannot discern people. You'll be walking in the camp of the enemy, surrounded by them, and yet you don't know. Because you sit there and say, oh, these people, this person, he worked so hard, he contributed, he helped our boys on the ground. Don't worry about those. Those are all camouflaging. It's all the game. It's all the game. You do all that to be able to deceive people. A lot of people came and they deceived us initially. Even some people on the ground, some of the killings on the ground by our so-called boys, it was all a game. La Republic doesn't mind to sacrifice some Ekelebes. What they do is they plant guys on the ground. Some generals on the ground were planted. And they will let these generals kill their people, kill their Ekelebes, just to gain the population, gain the crowd, attract us towards them. And now we say, oh, we have this guy, he's a general, he's in charge of this LGA. Really? But after La Republic let them gain that attraction, Then what they do is they pull them back. So okay, now sit back, don't do anything, be quiet. You don't kill us, or we don't kill you, and make sure nobody rises in that locality. But how did these people start? They started by first killing base. Like probably they will sacrifice blood. Of course, it's about sacrifice. Like probably has been around this game for decades, and so they know how to pull it. But after 8 years, you have to be able to sit down and re-evaluate relationships concerning people surrounding you, especially if these people's names are shrouded in controversies. Yes, that's key. I know they used to work hard, they contributed, they did this, they did that, they did that, everybody knew them. But when you start seeing their names shrouded in controversies, then you should say, oh, what's going on here? I know you were for us, you work, you did this, you did that, and all of that, the records are there, but lately, your name, look at Shoko Chako Radio. This is the guy that was there in our ABC. Every week he would sit there with Paddy and UN, and they would do the name of their program. And we flooded ABC, chanting and excited and supporting them. You know that the guy starts there. It was a green snake in green grass, quiet, waiting for the time like public pulls the trigger. Because that's what they do. They leave you, stay there, do the work for Ambazonians until when they need you. Then they pull the trigger. They say, okay, boy, it's time to get up and do what we say. Remember, we own you, we have this contract and agreement. It's time to get up and do the work. So you cannot see these days and just say, oh, this guy was great, it's fabulous, I cannot leave him. He's always, no, not everybody that sings Ambazonia is Ambazonia. Fake people out there. Bought, compromised people, thieves. They hide here. That's Crisano. What does he do besides those TV shows? Nothing on the ground. He doesn't have anything to do on the ground. So October 1st comes, he has nothing. 3 years ago, October 1st, he said, he went to Nigeria to hug the refugees, and that's when he abandoned his little wife in the mortuary. He went to Nigeria to hug the refugees. That was 3 years ago. 2 years ago, 1st of October, what did he do? He said, I was flying. I didn't have time to celebrate and all of that. The whole 1st of October in Ambazonia, the so-called president said, I was flying. You were flying? You didn't know that was supposed to be 1st of October? You didn't plan for the day? This year, 1st of October, what did he do? Nothing. Why? Because he's an agent. The Republic planted him here from maybe day one. While he was there doing all those shows, talking for us and all of that, of course, the Republic lets you do that to keep attracting the people. This year, 1st of October, he did nothing. Nothing. Why? Because it's an agreement. You don't fight against us. You don't support self-defense. You don't do anything on 1st of October. Nothing on the ground. And that's the agreement he has with him, with the Republic. He was supposed to take out his brother from Libya and just kill everything. To take over the government. So this is the point, fellow Amazonians. I don't care how long people have been in this struggle. Once you see their names popping up in the camp of controversies and attack on the government, or they come all these lies and attacking the government and all of that, you have their names coming out in anything anti-Ambazonia. It's about time you sit down and reevaluate and prayerfully. Some of us who can pray say, God, show me who this person is now. I know he was this. I know he did this. I know his name. I know he has a brand, Chako Radio, whatever name they all this. We all know him, but with all these stories arising against the person, Lord, who is this person? This is the moment for you to say, Lord, show me. Lord, open my eyes. Lord, if you don't know how to pray, just pray like I just pray. In a couple of words, pray them as hard as possible. Pray them as often as you can, because you can't stay in darkness anymore. You just can't. Dangerous days. People looking over your shoulder, but they are treacherous. Agents of Republic in government. They're singing all this, they're singing the Kubaya with us, but it was just a matter of time. And Laboru will let you sit there until they need you and they activate you. Boom. It's a in the Republic. This revolution did not take La Republic by surprise. Never. They have been planning to react. They have been planning for the day Ambazonia wants to go. They have everything in place, waiting for the day Ambazonia says we are.
Thank you so much. I put that video. Yeah, so we've briefly see some of the faces that were present on that day, right? If they don't remember that they were there, if they don't remember that they were there, we are telling that they were there.
Exactly. Oh my God, facts don't lie.
Facts don't lie. Anyway, this audio that we just listened to, what is your another take-home message? I know you were jotting down some things.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, he just knocked it on the head. He told us, the pattern of La Republique, how La Republique operates. So you shouldn't take things for face value. I think this is just life's lesson. Everything that glitters is not gold. The biggest donor doesn't tell you that he's loyal. That has nothing to do. He can bring his money as a way to win his way into our hearts because we want the money, because we must run. We need monies to fund the revolution. But he could have a hidden agenda, and they must use something. So he's saying that reevaluate your relationships. It's been 8 years. And you need to discern, meaning you also need to use common sense. You need to evaluate things, look around and see the attitude, the character, consistency, inconsistencies. He used the word controversies, that if you have repeatedly a name or someone having a lot of controversies around them, then you need to also sit and look. Because, like the saying goes, there's no smoke without fire. If you have someone who is constantly attacking the government and yet is in the government, constantly attacking. I'm not saying that constructive criticism is not important. Constructive criticism happens in a way, in a constructive manner, meaning that it happens in your office. It can happen through a phone call or within the confines of your office. You don't take something that is a potential public scare and put it out there in the public, and you claim that you're trying to build Ambazonia. It's bullshit. So he's just telling us to be smart. So those reevaluate your relationships. Keep an eye on those people who seem to be good, and because they were good at the beginning doesn't mean that they are still that, you know. And they can be big donors, they can be big speakers, they can hold positions, they can be influential people in the struggle. But you need to go beyond that and actually look deeper. And especially if they are constantly, he used the word constantly, raising controversies, because that tells you that there's pressure. The person who is telling them to deliver is putting them under pressure. It's like, hey, it's been 2 years, I haven't seen this, you're not doing this. One good example of this, a madman called Chris Anu, I'm sorry to use that word on him, because he says he has registered a government, he calls it an interim government. He's the same person who says there's no flag, believe in the flag, he doesn't believe in an anthem. So what government is that without emblems, without a flag and without an... So you see that there's already disparity in what he says. And that just tells you, when these people are on fire, they actually forget what they said yesterday, and tomorrow they come with something inconsistent, that doesn't really match. So but I'm very happy. Marpe, I'm jumping. Should I talk about this video now? Because I'm happy I saw some faces there.
Talk about the video,
Yeah,
yeah.
coming to this, I'm really happy about this video. I saw Matt Dorothy, who is the chair of ethics. I saw Matt Tebo, who is the personal assistant to the president. I saw Matt Ben, who is the regional, the DMV coordinator. I can see, of course, Barrister Fru, our legal advisor, Mark Constance, Dr. Mo,
Dr.
and,
Mungwa.
Dr. Tata,
Dr.
and
Mungwa.
yes, and Mafri, so you have representatives, you have people, and this, oh my God, I don't know what's really happening. It is like some bad, evil is going on with all these concoctions that are being made. What else do people really need? With all the stories that the president, in solely in connection with the Speaker of the House, changed the constitution. Do we even see the Speaker of the House here? She's not there. That's the first thing. And so, to me, I really plead that all these people who are here, we're seeing your faces, you are key players in this government, they should stand up and just put a stop to what is going on. Because the people who are propagating all these things are very close to them. And this is one of the issues that we face in this government. Complacency. People see things that are wrong and they stay quiet because they don't want to hurt their friend, because they don't want to hurt their friendship. If you're truly a freedom fighter, that shouldn't matter. You should be able to correct your friend. That's the right thing to do. And it takes us again to another step, another layer of that complacency, which is tribalism. I must say this because clearly we have seen this in this struggle, and from a particular clan, from a particular county or an LGA, I will not call it. This is how that far that we can talk, but they know themselves. And please, this picture, I'm very happy that we have documentation. I'm really glad because, to be honest, at some point, listening to all these ramblings that some people are generating and trying to hold us back, distracting us from the draft that is so successful and from the upcoming conference, I still say this again, whether they know it or not, some of them are infiltrated. As UN says, knowingly or unknowingly. The attitude of some, I am tempted to even call their names, is appalling. Like all of a sudden, a chair of a county or an LGA who has so many issues to deal with in her own county cannot deal with county issues, and all of a sudden becomes a lawyer, a constitutional lawyer. She understands nothing about it and is asking stupid questions from morning till evening. And people make an effort. Videos have been out, audios have been out from the president, from different people, and they even see these pictures and they still insist on what they do. Is that not an infiltrated person? Tell me. Nah. So please, I'm pleading on Ma Dorothy, Ma Tebo, Ma Ben is speaking. All those Mas who are there, talk to your sisters because they are from your county. Unless you are really a victim of this tribalism, and it has to stop. This attitude, we saw it during the drafts, where in the draft, some counties are overplayed as superior counties, or some LGAs are seen to be super LGAs, We would be on a federal draft. I remember that very well, a federal draft, FACO drafting. And because you have people from the same LGA coordinating, they start to talk in their vernacular. How disrespectful is that? And how primitive? Seriously. We are drafting the federal capital of Ambazonia. We should have our national language. We haven't decided yet. But it is not Mogamo. It is not Mogamo. We have not decided yet, unless you people have also met and changed the constitution without us knowing. So please, all our leaders should be responsible. You have to stand above all this friendship and camaraderie and so on. And please do what is right for Ambazonia. Particularly, offices like ethics. That is what you're supposed to be concerned about. In something like this, Ma Dorothy, I expect her to stand and tell her sisters, oh, stop. I was there. It didn't happen this way. The speaker was not even there. This followed the normal administrative processes to come to this. But she's sending some funny, fake writings that don't make sense at all. Yeah.
Let me say this. You're on fire, Dr. Yaya. I hear you're on fire. But I think there was something that maybe I missed. I think some people forgot about this meeting that took place in December. I think they ended up with ASSC 2. They knew about ASSC 1 and ASSC 2, and that's all they thought about. They didn't realize that this government is moving forward. That in December, this constituted urgent emergency meeting that the president called about that preceded what the House deliberations were on, and then you had the House met, and then we met on December 2nd, and then on December 8th and 7th there was a signing. I think that, as you said, the Speaker of the House will be on and explain how legislations run about, so that we learn from them. But I think what provoked this recent outing was people forgetting or not realizing that the government went past ASSC 2. Maybe I shouldn't say forget. Maybe a deliberate act, thinking that we are so stupid that we don't know what is going on. But that's where the mistake was made. And thank God you said for pictures and documentations, because it proves them that you had some ulterior motive. But the Lord God knows more than you do, and will always present the facts as they are. We're going to be ending the show. Yeah, so give me your final thoughts, because we have to end the program soon. There's another show coming up.
Yes, I disagree with the fact that they forgot, because they don't have to remember everything. They are not the brain of the revolution. Let them do their jobs. They have their departments that they have abandoned, and they are trying to be masters of something else. They should go and do the job they were called to do, and let those who do what they know to handle that. I know nothing about defense. I know nothing about these legal things. Why should I be nosy about it? Okay, fair enough. The revolution is happening at a very fast rate, and we are all displaced. We are in the diaspora, some in Europe and so on. I may not even have that remembrance of the occasion. Okay, now that you've seen pictures, you've heard audios from the president, multiple audios, explanations from people who were there, excerpts of the speeches. If you had good intention, you say, oh my God, okay, that slipped off my mind. But they are not doing this. These people, they keep on pressing with some very dumb questions, and it's very disheartening. Ambazonia, seriously, everybody should stand and fight this demon that is really struggling to plague our struggle right now, because we are doing well. We had October 1. This is a sign of infiltration to me. I have no other word to call it. We had a massive October 1 on the ground. Look at our soldiers, what they did. They came out. And then we had this spring up again, revival of the enthusiasm in the diaspora by the meeting, the face-to-face meeting. And that just started building the enthusiasm towards the transition draft. Imagine we've been fighting for 8 years. There's hope. The president tells us the advances in the diplomatic spheres, and that we are doing a transition into Boya. This is our end phase. Why then are people agitated? And they start to go pick up things from here and there. Please, county chairs, LGAs chairs, sit in your counties and do what you're supposed to do. Go and read the APP if you don't know what your job is about. Go and read the APP, and if you don't know, call the SOS for DHA, Department of Home Affairs and Community Mobilization, or talk to anybody in government, or call the president or the vice president, anybody. They will explain to you what you're supposed to do. And LGA chairs, you are supposed to be the basic unit of mobilization. You are not policymakers. You are not presidents. You are not mini presidents. Yes, you can contribute to the running of this government. You can share your ideas, but you can do so in a constructive way. You don't have to be a whistleblower, and your whistleblowing is based on lies. So shame on you. You people should stop this nonsense, because we know who your masterminds are. We know them. They are sitting quiet, but we know they have a large mouth, and they're the ones masterminding all these evil things. Mapia, sorry. So don't disturb this draft. If you don't want to draft, stay out, because we will have our names in the book of honor one day in Ambazonia. Don't disturb this draft, and please don't disturb the upcoming conference, because Ambazonia is moving forward with or without you. You can stay in La Republique if you want to. Don't disturb this draft. I'm asking every Ambazonian to stand up and start talking. I'm sure the last week people must have said maybe I've taken banger or something like that. But I even told the president that, Mr. President, from this day, if you hear that you heard that Yaya did something that doesn't look like her, believe it. Don't say no, I don't think she can't do that. Yes, stand and fight for your struggle sincerely. Fight for it and kick out all these evil fingers or whatever they call them, that they are just trying to disturb the place. And you have good people staying quiet. You have leaders staying quiet who could stand and say, no, what you're saying is not exactly what happened. I was there. But they say bad people rise when good people stay quiet. So I challenge particularly the ethics chair to stand and say the right thing, because she was there smiling and clapping.
Dr. Pastor Victor Mba just sent me a message. He wants to call, but I want to end the program because I have to leave for work. So, Dr. Pastor Mba, if you're listening to me, I'm not turning you down for any reason. I can answer your question later on because I have the right answer. But I have to leave for work in a few minutes, and there's another program coming up. So I know you wanted to call. So pardon me, please. Pardon me, please. I want to say this, that the enemy within the house is more dangerous than the enemy outside. Oh. I also want to say this, that I don't know who Charcoal Radio is personally. The audio that we listened to mentioned him. I think from now onward that we should stop pushing those audios that are detrimental to this quest. If you listen to an audio that is detrimental, that you don't know that it's factual, you need to get the facts right first before you push it, because if you push it out, it means that you endorse the message. So if Charcoal Radio is not in our forum and that message that he's having suddenly appears in your forum, find out who sent that message and find out why that person is sending the message. Do they believe what Charcoal Radio is saying? We need to start being very careful. I think it goes to the same audio where the person who spoke said that know your friends, know who you believe in, and start having the right discernment to know who is really for this quest for us to get international recognition. Dr. Yaya, your closing remarks, and then I'll make my closing remarks, please.
Yes, my closing remarks will go back to what the guy in the audio said. I just want to use this example of this last person we mentioned. I don't know him. I really hate to call his name. But the way you can tell that this is an infiltrator is this guy lives in the UK. We've been having, since I was here 2017, We've had all kinds of different protests in Europe, in England, in Germany, in Sweden. He has never showed up. We've never seen him. Last October 1, that was boycotted again by this cabal that is cooking up stories. They were not there. Charcoal Radio or whatever wasn't there. So who are these people that actually gain recognition on our platforms? I've never heard him draft. I don't see him on any meetings, drafting meetings. I just see his audios being pushed, by numbskulls. God help me. Yeah. So these people, they fit that the definition of an infiltrator and should be treated as such. Anyone in government who is promoting this kind of a person is just using them as a proxy. So they themselves, they are infiltrators. So to my closing statement is this: people of Ambazonia, we have been through the worst. When this government was annulled by Siseko, I think that's a big thing. That you have a few individuals calling, asking questions and creating agitation. Those people are not more important than Ambazonia. So let us not concentrate on them. Those few so-called LGHers who want to become legislators of Ambazonia, please ignore them. And I am also asking the the LGAs and the counties, take power in your hands. Your leaders, you vote your leaders in. And if you see that your leaders are doing the wrong thing, please change them. Read through the APP. I don't know what the stipulations are, but there must be some kind of clause as to, how you revive or revolve around changing leadership. If some people are tired, they have done well for Ambazonia, we thank them, let them go quietly. But if you see that you have a toxic leader who is destructive and is not doing good to this revolution, because I bet you the LGA leaders chairs, they are the bedrock of this revolution. I'll give you an example. When when we had a proper leader like Chairman Frank, I miss him. We miss him in Bui. Right? We had a strong coalition between Bui and Gokitunja. These idiots from La Republique couldn't just pass through easily. Of course, Mezam was letting them pass. So I'm challenging that. Take care of stopping La Republique fighters from crossing, right all the way into the interior. Instead of you trying to be Madam Big Book, asking stupid questions here and there. Allow those in those fields, you can give your suggestions, but please take care of your own job. And to Rachel, go and take care of HSS. Go and take care of HSS. The prisoners and the Ma, you are laughing. I know how many calls you get every day. I know how much you spend, Mape. I'm almost in tears. Even now we're talking, the calls I'm having is from prisoners. They disturb us day and night. When we tell your HSS, whether it's your SOS, Rachel is your deputy SOS, what do they say? These people, go back and do your work and stop messing about with Ambazonia. It is time for you to quit if you are tired and stop disturbing us. It's enough.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yaya. It was a pleasure having you on the horizon, the voice of the Amber woman. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. And I think we show the passion about what is going on, because we really believe in this journey. We really believe in Ambazonia. We believe in a nation that is going to be run based on the motto of liberty, justice, and integrity. Liberty, you have to start practicing that integrity. Are these individuals, do they have any integrity in their bones based on what is happening? Please look at the word integrity and reflect upon what is going on. I want to say this as we conclude, that there's something that we didn't touch, and I'll probably say it. I will not give you an opportunity to say it because you just gave your closing remarks. But I want to say this: the question about the president having access to Ambazonia Foundation, to important platforms, is something that is bewildering me, why there's so much opposition. But here is the point, and I listened to the president's audio. Do we know those who have the keys to these platforms? We need those names. We need to know who they are. Are they being protected from La Republique, and that's why they don't want us to know? If that's the case, the president wants to have it because he's already the president and he has nothing to be afraid of. We know who he is. He wants to have access. He doesn't want to go in there and take our money. It's another layer of protection based on what we've experienced in the past with Skakuf, with our last treasury with Tabenyang, and then Richard Tangu and Blaise Che. We've experienced that already. Do we want to experience it the fourth time? You know, they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We want to be fooled a second time, then shame on us Ambazonians. Because I think the Ambazonians need to demand, even if it's a few people that know, they need to know the names of those who have the back ends of our platforms that carry our finances. And by the way, I think also it's time for certain things to happen that we'll talk to the government. I don't think that it's time for us to even, I don't want to put it here on
They're
the
not
air.
here.
I think there are important things that we'll talk in the government, and I have the government do it with a close need of people to know what is going on. So let's conclude. I want to thank you for being on the horizon, the voice of the Amber woman. I think another show is coming up soon with our sister Judith coming up soon with a spiritual message. And then after that, the Speaker of the House will be on prime time to explain how the legislative body works. So please stay tuned to all these shows. And thank you for being on the horizon, the voice of the Amber woman. Bye for now and see you next week. We didn't get to talk about diabetes. We'll do that next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mape. Thanks, everyone.
Fellow Ambazonians, I have decided that never again will I allow falsehood to prevail until people believe it concerning this government before the truth comes out. Because when that happens, we lose momentum, we lose faith, we lose the trust of the people. And later on, when the truth comes out, the people are so down in their disappointment that we start digging ourselves again out of the pit for no cause, for no justifiable reason. So for this reason, you are hearing my voice regularly, and I will, especially when it touches the revolution. I say this to say that there is a lie from the pit of hell